Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers, welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It's good to have you here. It's Wednesday, September 25th. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. We're going to jump into a local case to me, Jessica Barnes, 20 years old, who's missing. But before we do, if you're watching on YouTube, you know the drill. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, share it with your friends, and you can click that little bell for notifications of when I post new updates or content. I have a lot of new listeners locally for this case, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm not like every other true crime podcaster. I do a music fact of the day. November Rain by Guns N' Roses has a literary influence. The lyrics are based on a story called Without You by Del James. Definitely my favorite Guns N' Roses song. One more thing is I don't put out rumor and speculation on the podcast. I think that the truth is so important in true crime, and rumor and speculation can be detrimental to these investigations with misinformation being spread everywhere. So we are going to get into some social media posts by Jessica's husband, as well as a couple of the women that were also living in the home Jessica and Brandon shared. It's a convoluted story. There are a lot of things going on at once in the dynamics of all of this, and I'm going to do my best to break it down so that you can understand it as far as who's who and how they fit in. Let's get into the basics first. Jessica Barnes, 20 years old, is from Pendleton, South Carolina. It's here in the upstate in Anderson County, kind of near Clemson. She's married to Brandon Barnes, who's 21 years old. And Pendleton Police Chief Robert Crosby told People magazine, as of now, nobody has been named as a suspect. By the way, this is still considered a missing persons case. Authorities have not indicated whether or not they suspect foul play. Jessica was last heard from on August 1st. The police chief said the last verified sighting of Jessica was August 3rd on I-85, kind of near the Clemson Boulevard exit. And she was reported missing by her mother on September 10th. Jessica moved to the area in 2022. She was born and raised in Michigan, and her family followed her here. Now, her father currently lives in Romania, and I actually spoke to him yesterday on the phone. I have not made contact with her mother, but I'm hoping to soon. And if I do, I'll post a little update episode if there's anything at all she wants me to put out there. Who's working on this case? In addition to the Pendleton Police, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, as well as the Anderson County Sheriff's Department are all collectively working to find Jessica. And she disappeared after an argument with her husband. She lived with her husband, Brandon, her best friend, and another woman. Brandon and Jessica lost a baby to fetal demise earlier this year. Brandon, again, is 21, and he has 2 children with an ex who is in Maine. He has a baby with one of their roommates. Brandon has commented on Facebook posts about Jessica, saying that Jessica left him because she caught him cheating. Pendleton Police Chief Robert Crosby said that they were having typical marital disputes. It was argumentative, and then she just left. According to her husband and roommates, Jessica did not say where she was going. Police were not called to the residence at any point prior to her disappearance, and there's been no charges filed against Brandon in this marriage with Jessica, but the family has alleged there was domestic violence in the relationship. Her father told me that yesterday. He said there were issues with the couple going as far back as December. Her dad told me that he felt that Brandon was controlling her contact with her family. Jessica's mom last spoke to her on the phone August 1st, and there were 2 separate calls that day. In the first call, Jessica said she was going to a shelter for domestic violence victims, but there has been no evidence to suggest she ever went to one. The second call came later in the day, and it was a quick call. We do not know the contents of what was said. Her dad told me he also texted with her on August 1st. Fast forward to September 10th. Over 40 days later, her mother reported her missing. Jessica's mom said that she got a text from an account that's under Jessica's name, and it said she was headed to a friend's house, but her mom said the text did not sound like Jessica, and she doesn't think it was her. The phone was disconnected at some point after that text. I'm not clear on how soon after. Her mom started to look for her and was told by a neighbor of Brandon and Jessica's that Brandon told them Jessica was gone to Romania where her father was. Her mom was very quickly able to confirm that was not true. And yesterday, when I talked to her dad, he again confirmed she had never been there and, in fact, told me her passport was expired. Homeland Security also confirmed Jessica has not left the country. Last Thursday, Twin Lakes boat ramp was searched here in the upstate at Lake Hartwell. Lake Hartwell, big lake, very, very popular with everybody in this area. Now, People magazine reported that police tracked the couple's roommate's car to the boat ramp. This is a place Jessica and Brandon went to often to camp and fish. Phone records showed Brandon drove the vehicle to the location, but Police Chief Crosby did not comment further on that discovery. The day after the search at the boat ramp, the residence that Jessica shared with her husband and the two other women were searched. Authorities said at the residence they were looking for clues, articles of clothing, electronic devices, or just anything that would help locate Jessica. They did recover several items, including a cell phone, which has been sent for processing. They did seem to focus on the backyard near a pool house, and there was some overhead video of that search that was broadcast by WYFF4 here in Greenville. Her mom spoke to News 4 and said that Jessica loves God, first of all, and she's an artist. She likes to write songs and everything. She's very bubbly and smart. She then spoke to Jessica directly and said, if you see this, know that you're loved, and we're waiting for you to give me a phone call. As soon as you get this, know that your father and your siblings are worrying, and I'm worrying about you and your safety. What do we know publicly about her husband, Brandon? Well, Fitz News talked to Brandon's ex-wife, who has a restraining order against him. She said the similarities in her and Jessica's lives with Brandon made her want to speak out, as well as being concerned for Jessica's whereabouts. Now, they share two children together, and she told Fitz News that she left Brandon in 2022 after a domestic violence incident in Maine. During the marriage, she said she was isolated from loved ones. Her phone was broken. He blocked her family and friends on social media. And she says she was abused for eating too much while pregnant. She also said he locked her in their home. She said he moved her from Maine to Florida to further isolate her from family and friends. Jessica's dad told me it's just not normal for Jessica not to contact him. He said he hopes that she's hidden herself for safety reasons, but he also is aware this is very 50-50 of whether that's the case or something worse has happened. Brandon commented on the town of Pendleton's press release post on social media and then started responding to people who were accusing him of being involved in Jessica's disappearance. He has several different Facebook profiles, but this one is the one he seems to be commenting on publicly. It says, if anyone sees my wife, let me or the police know. I've been so numb lately. I thought she would have said something or come back home. I'm trying to trust in God, but it's really hard when it's gotten this serious. We lost our son a couple of months ago, and now my wife goes missing. I'm really trying to trust God. I pray someone posted to him, you won't get away with it. And Brandon responded, get away with what? How am I guilty if she left me? I married the woman I love. Why in the world would you assume I did something to my wife? Y'all need to stop making accusations and assumptions because you're just harassing me at this point. I love my wife and have searched for her, and I'm praying that she comes home to me. Even if she doesn't, I pray she is safe and will eventually find her way back home to me. Jessica's mom posted on a cover photo that Brandon posted to his account September 16th. One half of the photo shows two ultrasound photos, and then on the right side, there's a picture of him and Jessica kissing. And her mom wrote, Brandon, I have a few questions to ask you since you claim to love Jessica, my daughter. Where and when did you see her last? Please be honest. And why did you bring another girl in your house when you already had two women there? Why did you marry Jessica when you had another girl expecting a baby? Why did you tell Jessica that girl was your sister? And last, why did you not call me, her mom, to see if she was at my house or the police to make a report that she is missing in 24 hours? What kind of husband are you if you don't do the things you should do? Please answer kindly in public since you posted the picture kissing her after she is missing. I have more questions, but for now, please answer these questions. Thank you. Underneath that, she posted, "Why don't you answer?" Brandon and Victoria, who is the best friend of Jessica, posted their truth on social media. I will read these because I've verified that these accounts do indeed belong to Brandon and her best friend, Victoria. The other person that lived there, just to make this a little more clear to you, her name is Kendall. This girl, Kendall, clearly not his sister. They have a child together. The roommate and the best friend, Victoria, and Jessica lost their child earlier this year. Crazy. But this is Brandon's truth. She forgave me all the time, but there's only so much that a woman can forgive. I messed up this time because I got caught up in thinking she would always be there for me no matter what I did. I've been hiding this from her mom and dad, and I lied to detectives as well. It happened on the exact day, but the details weren't correct. I've been too ashamed to say that I cheated on my wife in front of her 4 different times. I'm especially embarrassed to admit that I got caught having sex with her best friend. I know that y'all think I know where she is, but I have no idea where she's located. It's obvious that y'all have been following me, and the reason I went from Tennessee to Colorado was to take a mental break and find a place to stay for the night. Another reason we took a trip is because Kendall felt unsafe at home. We were deciding where to go while we were driving. I was trying to find a good state for a 3-day trip so that I could build myself up for me to be able to tell the truth that she bailed because I cheated. I didn't want to post this in my own town while I was still there because I was already getting stared at, and I thought that going to a different state would help it calm down. Only the truth can calm everything down, and I originally didn't give many details because this is the truth. She left me because I cheated. I also didn't want the whole town to look at me as a hoe. I felt like if I posted this, the whole town would see this and I wouldn't have a good reputation in my city. I know that I have to go back home because unfortunately, I have to work and provide for my daughter. Another reason I have to go back home is so she can sleep in her crib again and I'll be heading home soon. When I get home, I want to look into getting therapy so that I can work on myself and build myself to be a better husband for her. I want her to come home to a loving and godly husband, just like she has always wanted. Even though I don't deserve a second chance with Jess, I pray that she comes home and sees that I'm different now and she'll take a second chance on our marriage. At the same time, she hasn't been the same since losing our son. Her mental status started going downhill fast, and she's been so depressed about our son to the point she started talking about hoping to see him very soon. I wanted to go to the prayer vigil today, but I felt like I didn't deserve to be there because I pushed her away. And I knew if I posted this, the whole town would judge me and see me as a guy who can't keep a woman in his life. Obviously, that's embarrassing, and I know that her mom is worried about her too. But at the same time, I just don't feel like I deserve her or a second chance in a relationship. After she left, I knew that our relationship was probably over, but I can't be sure. After what I did, I've been stuck in my mind and my embarrassment because I'm her husband. She saw that I was always on my phone looking at other girls in the wrong way, and she caught me, but I didn't realize it. I told so many people that I was so good to her, and at certain times I was. When we lost our son, and even before she got pregnant, I was still having sex with Kendall. After we lost our son, I stopped having sex with Kendall. I didn't know we were going to get married, and I knew that it was for the wrong reasons. We had a son together, and he was very beautiful. I was so hurt by losing him that I used the wrong things to heal. I went back to my old habits and started having sex with other girls. And the funny thing is, I knew it was wrong and I knew it would hurt her, but at the end of the day, I thought she wouldn't find out. We wanted to get married because we knew that we'd get to keep each other. We ended up getting married for the wrong reasons, though. I chose to marry her because she was pregnant, and I felt like it was the right thing to do. I know that y'all are confused because I ended up not marrying Kendall. The truth is, I cheated on Kendall as well. Even though me and Kendall aren't together anymore, we did have a baby together. It was the most beautiful thing ever, just like me and Jess's son. Little trigger warning ahead. He does talk about the death of their son and fetal demise and what he witnessed when she delivered their child. I'm going to give a second for you to fast forward just a bit. Brandon goes on to say, he may have been decomposed as he was coming out of the womb, but that was the most traumatizing thing I've ever seen. I know that I could never have a kid again with anyone else because of my trauma after seeing that. I really didn't help her take care of herself that well when she was pregnant either. I did help her wash herself, and that much was genuine. What I mean by that is, I don't think I took her to appointments often enough. As far as I can tell, that is the end of his truth. So let's move on to Jessica's best friend, Victoria, who also posted her truth. It says, Jess bailed after she found out that Brandon cheated on her with me. I'm supposed to be her best friend, and I did something that was very wrong, hurtful, and ungodly. Yes, Brandon has cheated on Jess a few times, but she always forgives him. So we didn't expect her to just jump up and leave the way she did. The reason why we didn't report her missing is because she's 20 years old and left on her own terms. She always forgives and comes back no matter what. So honestly, we thought she just needed the space. Brandon and Kendall had left for work that morning, and later she told me that she forgives me, but she had finally had enough and was leaving. She said she was going to leave their son's ashes as a reminder of what they lost. She left her guitar as well because it was too big to take with her, and she always wanted Brandon to learn how to play. Jess is my best friend, and we had a lot of fun together. We would read our Bibles, take care of, and I'm not going to say the child's name, but I believe she mentions a child here, clean the house, and we did all of this together. I know that what I did hurt her deeply, and I wish I could take it back. At the same time, even though she was happy on the outside, mentally, she wasn't okay. She was so depressed about having lost her son that she was always talking about hoping to see him soon. Now, Kendall and Brandon did go to Colorado. Kendall, just a reminder, the mother of one of Brandon's kids. And on her Facebook account, she posted this: taking a breather in our road trip to Colorado and getting away for our safety, and in hopes to find out more details that will bring Jess back home to us. The fact that you are commenting and accusing Brandon of such hateful things when it is so hard that he is depressed, barely eating, or drinking in weeks, concerned for her safety, feeling very unwell, and wishing everyone would just let us heal and process. We are headed home so we can all clean the house and rest afterwards. We will try and see if we can help some more in finding her. We are praying for her safe return back to everyone, including us and her family. Again, just a reminder, nobody has been named a suspect, and this is still considered a missing person case. And I just decided to put this out there because it's available with a simple search. And when you put these things out on social media and somebody very close to you has gone missing, it's going to be found and looked at. And I'm just being transparent in what I can say is legitimate information beyond what law enforcement has put out, which understandably is very little as they continue to investigate this. The family did give a statement to Blunt Force Media. It says, as a family, we want to express our deep appreciation for the overwhelming outpouring of prayers, love, and concern for Jessica during this incredibly difficult time. We are deeply moved by the support from our community, friends, and those who have reached out to show they care for Jessica. While we cannot comment on the progress of the investigation into her disappearance, we can confirm that no suspect or persons of interest have been named by law enforcement at this time. The case remains very active, and authorities are continuing to work this case as a missing person. We are hopeful for answers and remain steadfast in our faith that God will continue to guide us through this difficult time as we search for her. He has proven to be our grace, our strength, and our tower, and we will continue to embody that as we wait for her safe return. We ask for continued prayers and privacy as we navigate this challenging journey. Thank you for standing with us. There is a hashtag Justice for Jessica Barnes on that with love, and it's from her mother and her siblings. If you have any information about the case, you can call Police Chief Robert Crosby at 864-646-9409. So that's all we know at the moment, at least as far as what I can put on here. There's a lot more being said, but again, I'm not going to put out what I can't back up. But I'm in contact with people who know Jessica. And if anything changes or if law enforcement makes any future announcements about the case, I will be on it. So make sure you're subscribed and you have those bell notifications. I'm going to get this house ready for this tropical storm we have coming. I know I have a lot of listeners in the Florida area that's going to be impacted by the storm. Just know you're in my thoughts. Please get out. Keep yourself safe. You can replace things, but you can't replace yourself. So I'm hoping to get at least one more episode in before the storm hits us tomorrow evening. We could get 70-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts here. So I may go live if I just can't sleep. Who knows? I'm not going to get out and do anything stupid. Good juju out to everybody in the path of this nasty storm. Stay safe. You guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.